Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to make a pin cushion, and what I started out with was a cur jar lid, and I traced around, cut me out a little heavy cardstock piece of cardboard, so something like a cereal box or something like that thickness, you know, and then I just made sure that it did fit. And so now I grabbed just a scrap piece of fabric and also a piece of thin batting. And I'm going to grab this, which is ground black walnut shells. And we're going to open this up here. And I'm going to pour some. Ooh. Try that amount. This is just trial and error here to see how many we're going to need. Okay, that might do it. Now, normally I would use a rubber band. I cannot find any of my rubber bands, so I'm just going to grab a piece of ribbon here. And just pull it tight and pull it around again and tie it off again. And knot it good. Okay, and then we can cut a bunch of that off. Okay, so we're just going to trim off to reduce this bulk. It's really thick, so just take your time and trim it down. Now I'm going to grab my glue gun. And I want to stay about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, and then grab this and just push it down. Kind of get it in there and hold on to it. You don't have to use the crushed walnuts. You could just use stuffing like for a pillow or something like that. And I'm just going to hold this until it sets up. Okay, so once we've got that nice and secured, we're just going to slide our ring down over it. Just kind of work it. Oops. And it'll go right up in there for you. That's why we stayed about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to use this little jar. And quilters or anybody that sews, we use a combination of pins as well as these clips. So you could, if you are making a gift for someone, you could fill the jar with the clips and then put their cute little pin cushion right on top. Now once this is up inside there, you can see there's still some space where I was trying not to get to the edge because I still needed it to go up inside the ring. So what you could do at this point is go ahead and add some more glue, which I will do. You could also use something like E6000 at this point if you wanted to. Basically, I'm just going to work my way around, and I'm just going to push that down until it grabs. You could also put the original ring underneath that, underneath the cardboard there if you wanted to, for a little more stability. This is metal, so it would be hard to use hot glue and glue this to. That's why we look for the little piece of cardstock instead, or a thin cardboard. Okay, so we'll let this one grab, then we'll go ahead and put this on, because this is much stronger than just that little piece of cardboard there. Okay, so we'll unscrew that, pop that right up in there. Okay, so this right here would make a really cute little gift for someone for Christmas or a birthday. If you know somebody that sews, you might could even find a cute little print material that matches, you know, their space that they sew in or something like that. Now, I also wanted to show you another idea. You could take a quart jar and you could just gather various things that they would use. So for example, I grabbed one of my seam rippers and a marking pencil. The marking pencil might be too long. Nope, I think it'll fit. I did a tape measure. If they're a quilter, here's a spool of quilting thread. Here's some machine needles. You could also use quilting needles to put in there. This helps to turn. And this is a seam that rolls over seams. Here's a pair of snips, an awl, a little measuring tool, the 1/4-inch seam tape, and let's see, you could probably even find a small pair of scissors that would fit down in there. Here's some refill blades for the rotary cutter. And just be creative. You know, if they don't quilt and they just sew on the sewing machine, then replace that spool with maybe a black and white spool of regular thread for the machine. If they like to do something like embroidery, you might put several pieces of embroidery floss in there. Just cater it to what they use. In all of those crafts, we would use pins. We would also use the clips. But if it was a gift, you could fill the jar up with anything you think they would use, and then they have the pin cushion on top. You could even go further and use your ribbon, or this is jute, and go around it and go all the way down the lid just to decorate the lid up. Really, at this point, you could just be creative with what you do with it. But I thought this was a cute idea. And one thing about using these jars as your pin cushions, I really like it because the jars are heavy. I don't know how many times I have chased my little, my mom had made a really cute little pin cushion. It's light as a feather. It's made out of cotton, and it looks like a little lady's hat. And then it doesn't have anything heavy on the inside. It's just stuffing. And I don't know how many times I've pushed it around trying to get my pin stuck in it. Versus anything with some weight like this, you know, your pin's just going to stick right in there for you. So I'll never get rid of my little pin cushion just because she made it. But it's definitely, that was a flaw with it, is how lightweight it was. And my aunt And cousin actually got me a really nice pincushion that I use at my sewing machine. It looks like a large spool of thread, and it's made out of wood, so it's got that weight to it, you know, and then on top of it is a little mound that is your pincushion. So anyway, thought these were really cute ideas. We do have the holidays approaching, so you can make it for yourself, but you could also make it as a gift item for someone. Okay, so I just got the jute on there, and I remembered something that I had. I have got random buttons. Most of them I got whenever my mom passed, and I got all of her sewing stuff. But I remembered these little buttons. Here's one. It's just a sewing machine, and then a little pair of scissors. And I thought, to cover up my raw edge there, I'll just put this on here. Let that set. So that would just top it off. I was going to put just a regular button on there, and then I remembered I had these buttons. I just had to find it. So that would be cute on this one too, but wouldn't it really be cute if you put it on the big jar full of sewing supplies for whoever you were going to give it to? So anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you what I had found there, and hope you have a great week. Bye.